Coming up on today's show, we have a full review of all the weekend's Premier League games, starting with Spurs, the trip up north to take on Manchester United. Arsenal are set to face Swansea in what will be Arsene Wenger's 800th Premier League game as a manager, second only to Fergie. And we continue the manager's talk as Leicester, with a new manager, Claude Puel, in charge. They take on managerless Everton. All that and more, much more, coming up next. Welcome to SportNation. I've got the guys with me again. It's Premiership time. So guys, last week was hard, wasn't it? This week there's a few tricky games as well. Let's start with Man United Spurs. Is Harry Kane going to be fit?
I don't know if he will. Obviously, went off holding his hamstring.
Yeah.
And it didn't look good. Pochettino in his conference didn't allude to the fact that he was going to be playing.
Real Madrid coming up as well.
Resting for that.
Do you know what I mean? So, I don't think, we've said this loads, haven't we, that Tottenham, the reliant they have on Harry, you know, they desperately need him up there. Can they take this chance? This is a big game, you know, and I don't think it's a game that either side can afford to lose, because City are going to stretch away if they do. So I don't think Harry will play, but I'm still going to go. Man United against Spurs at Old Trafford have a great record. They've got a great record, but I've got a feeling the Spurs are going to get behind the ball. They might park the bus. So I'm going to go 1-1.
I mean, yeah, I think that's a good shout. I think Mourinho's going to, like you said, he's not going to want to lose. Don't want City to get too far away. I reckon he'll do a similar sort of tactics like he did with Liverpool, try and hit them on the counter, park the bus, maybe sneak a 1-0. Yeah. But realistically, I think it probably will be 1-0.
Yeah, or a 1-0 United win. You know, the record against Tottenham, I actually played up there a long, 83, 84. Scored a cracking overhead kick, but they ended up beating us in the game. You know, United beat Spurs, so it's not a happy hunting ground for for Tottenham at Man United. So maybe I've got it wrong. You know, the more I think about it, if Harry, I'm going to go 1-1. I'll stay with that. Never change your mind. If Harry doesn't play, I might go for just the odd goal for United, 1-0.
The last two times they've met, in 2015 and 16, it's been 1-0 to United.
Yeah, so that could easily happen.
Not many goals, I don't think.
There's not many goals in that.
Under 2.5 goals as
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so a tight match, just maybe United to edge it. If not, sit in the fence, we go for a draw.
Yeah.
Next up, Arsenal against Swansea. You know, there's no real firepower in Swansea, that's for sure. We're talking about Lukaku and Harry Kane there, maybe no Harry, but from a Swansea side, now I know you think there could be a potential banana skin here, but I've got a feeling, I think Arsenal, they had a tough game against Norwich, didn't they, in the League Cup, but I really fancy Arsenal here, I do. I think Swansea are struggling, and I think they're going to struggle, so I'm going to go comprehensive 2-3-0.
I mean, Swansea have only had 18 shots on target all season, so they're blunt. They're struggling.
They are really struggling.
I think Arsenal have won their last 9 home matches. They're good at home. I think you're right. I think Arsenal are probably going to easily walk this. You're just pessimistic.
I am pessimistic. Arsenal are in really good form. Kept 7 in 9 clean sheets. You got a Welsh
granny or something.
No, but Swansea are our bogey team. So they've beaten us 3 times there. So the only other club that have won 3 times at the Emirates is Chelsea. So Swansea have just got this, because we're playing similar sort of styles, let them have the ball. That's how they want to play, and it's exactly how Arsenal want to play. So I've just got this, I'm just wary of Swansea. Whenever I think Arsenal are going to win and win comfortably, always comes back to bite me.
Look at Wenger there, 799 games as a Premier League manager. He got involved in the AGM as well yesterday, didn't he? And I think there was about 300 shareholders there, not happy at all.
Not at all.
It was chaotic, it was really, really bad. So Giroud scored midweek, didn't he, but done nothing, according to Ray Parlour. I was talking to Ray, he said he was diabolical.
He's not playing well at the moment. I think he's just lacking a little bit of confidence. He hasn't kind of got as many goals. He's got a good record against Swansea, but this season he's just not doing it.
He's a bench player though. He's fallen into that position.
He's an impact player.
Yeah, you bring him on, hope he gets a header in the last 10 minutes.
Well,
or
he did that in Europe, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is this his type of game, Swansea, where he'll get plenty of time on the ball and he won't have to backtrack so much?
I think so. Like, Everton played into his hands last week, didn't get amongst him, and Mesut Ozil will cause all sorts of trouble if you give him time, which I think Swansea will. I'm always just pessimistic with Arsenal, but I'm with you guys. I think maybe a
But,
2-0
but not a
Arsenal.
walkover. I've gone 3, and you might be right. You know?
2-0.
Yeah,
They're doing well lately. Honestly.
Over 2.5 goals.
Yeah.
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 And Swansea normally score away from home as well.
Yeah, they've
maybe-
kept a couple of clean sheets away from home as well.
But Arsenal, if they get a good win, depends what happens at Old Trafford, depends what happens at the Hawthorns. We'll come to that. No, Arsenal are just creeping up now, aren't they? Okay, now this is an intriguing one, isn't it? West Ham looked down and out in the League Cup, didn't they? The Carabao Cup. In fact, I turned over. I went to Aberdeen Celtic, and Celtic were cruising, so I went to bed. And then I wake up in the morning, West Ham have won the game. Unbelievable. So that will give them a lift. Whereas Palace, on the other hand, they were dreadful in the Cup, weren't they, against Bristol City? Roy looks as if he's going to be in tears. So I think he's going to force his players. I need a big game. I need a big one off you here. And I think they'll get it. Again, I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go for a Palace win, 1-0.
Really?
1-0, yeah.
That'd be classic West Ham to put in a shift and then crumble at the next hurdle.
We talked about it before, didn't we? I think these two games, if Bilic would have lost and West Ham would have lost the Carabao Cup and this one, he could have gone.
Yeah.
Like that's. I think the performance though against Tottenham just shows they are still playing for him. I fancy a draw in this one.
Do you?
I think it won't help
I
either
think
team.
it's tight. Lanzini's a great player, isn't he? And he's just got to find a little bit of consistency. Lanzini, I'll tell you a funny story. He actually lives in the same apartment block as I do in London. And last Christmas, they all went out on their Christmas party. And of course, I start very early in the morning going to radio. And as I got at the bottom of the ramp, about 5:20 in the morning, this taxi pulled out and this kid falls out. Taxi driver helps him on his feet. He walks up towards me, so he's now on his feet. He dribbles round me 3 times and keeps walking. He's gone, totally gone. And he'd a white t-shirt and jeans on. And the next day there was a picture in the paper because they'd got in trouble. They'd been out late, 5:15. And he'd a jacket on. So there was no jacket when he dribbled round me going to bed. And I don't know if it's his watch or his money, but anyway, look, he can play when he's right. So Palace, desperate, aren't they? That win over Chelsea, wow, that was a coupon buster. I just think they'll be up for this, especially if Zaha, Townsend Zaha, in the caption there, if they're on form, Palace can nick it.
Yeah, I think they're their key players. Like those two have to fire. If they don't, Palace will struggle. But I think a draw doesn't really help either team. I can just see that one coming.
Stats tell us West Ham, don't they?
Yeah, Bilic has got a very good record, like unbeaten against Palace, which is.
I'm going to go for a West Ham win here. I think also maybe an Ayew anytime goal scorer. He looked class against Spurs. He just I just think they're going to have a bit of momentum now. And
a bit more confidence.
Yeah, I reckon they will win it.
Okay. Move on to Liverpool against Huddersfield. Now, this is interesting. For me, there's only one winner here. I know it's Wagner, isn't it, against his old boss, Klopp. And they are organised, Huddersfield, but now Anfield, Liverpool have got to get back. They've now got to put a run together, Liverpool, or Klopp's going to be under pressure. The stat tells you they only won the last 42 Premier League home games against newly promoted. I fancy 2-0 at least here, Liverpool.
Yeah, I think if Liverpool do win, they'll make hard work of it. I think potentially Huddersfield might go ahead, and Liverpool will have to claw it back. So I'm going to go with Huddersfield to win either half. I think they might go at 1-0, and it could be a draw.
I don't agree. I think Liverpool will win this quite comfortably. There's only 1 point that separates these two teams, which if you'd have said at the start of the season, 9 games in, that there'd be 1 point separating, you'd never.
Watford as well. I thought Watford would
just
struggle, and they've done well. Watford, we're going to come to that. Liverpool.
The defence is all over
they
the
can't
place.
afford. They can't. I think as long as Coutinho, he's so influential, isn't he?
Yeah.
He really is. Defensively though, Huddersfield will fancy the chances against that Liverpool defence. So
yeah, I think that they've conceded 16 goals this season. 5 of those were against City though, so it's a little bit inflated. That I just think Liverpool at home played 4, won 2, drew 2 so far.
But their defence is so leaky, and you saw Huddersfield against United. They hunted them down in packs. They were like, they really went
I think
for
it's
it.
a different ball game when you're away from home. When you're at home, you've got your home fans with you. I can't
I think
see anything
they'll
but
force
Liverpool
Liverpool into errors. I think.
now West Bromwich Albion again, a bit unhappy fans. They're not scoring enough. City, you know, they'll look at the fixtures this week and think we can stretch our lead here, especially if there's a draw up at Old Trafford. West Brom, we know they're organised, don't we? You know, but look, they're not having against City. It's a nightmare for them. They've lost the last 11 in a row. I keep thinking that West Brom is set pieces behind the ball. They'll make it hard, but City just pass the ball for fun. And this guy, you know, this guy for me, you know, I think he's a real top class. I know he's only young, but look at that. He's doing ever so well. He's not regular every week, is he? But City will get too much from him. Simple as that.
Completely agree. Interesting thing about Sane tends to play the home games. So he's only played 45 minutes away from home across 4 games. So I don't know if Sane is going to start. I'm not sure. Pep does like to rotate it quite a lot.
And they've got Napoli on Tuesday.
And they've got Napoli Tuesday, which is a big game.
So he could play. He could start.
He could. It's a difficult one. You almost can't call a City goal scorer until the starting lineup's announced.
No, absolutely.
But then just pick any one of the front
But at
three.
the back, they're looking solid as well, aren't they?
Really, they really are.
And West Brom have got quite a few potential injuries for this game as well. So Evans, Barry,
Dawson's out as well
Dawson's
now.
out.
2 months.
Robson Kanu's a doubt.
Yeah, it's got to be City.
It's a City win.
Moving on, Chelsea. I was reading today that maybe, just maybe, Ancelotti on standby. Wow. So something's not right at Chelsea. They're, you know, I don't know what it is. I think Conte's pushing them too hard. There's unrest, but definitely that was a big talk this morning. That Ancelotti could be returning to the bridge. So if there is unrest, Bournemouth down there, Bournemouth are struggling, aren't they? You know what I mean? Look at that, lowest points total. Just 7 after 9 games Premier League. If you go back 15, 16, they're 8 points. I just feel, even with the unrest at Chelsea, it might be a 1-0 or 2-0. I don't think they're going to batter Bournemouth, but I think I've got to go for Chelsea again.
Yeah, I think Chelsea will probably nick. I think both teams will
Look
score.
at that, Ole. Amazing.
Yeah.
League goals to start the 16s have come from Spanish players. 53 of Chelsea's league goals. Frightening.
Yeah, they've got such a good squad, haven't they? Chelsea, away from home, they've only kept 1 clean sheet though. So I think Bournemouth will score. That was the 4-0 win against Stoke that Chelsea won.
Chelsea aren't playing well at the moment. They're grinding out a few results, but they're not playing well. So as soon as they come across a team that actually get their stuff together, I think
the big thing for Chelsea that differs from last year is Champions League. So like last year they had rest in between all of the games, and Conte could get his views across. Now, when you're turning round, or you're basically just recovering, play another game, recovering, it is a lot more difficult, and injuries creep in. Chelsea have probably, with their first 11, got probably the best team, I would say. Like their first 11 is strong.
Over City?
I just think that City maybe, but I just think Chelsea's team showed it last year. When they get them out and they pretty much played the same 11 all last year, they perform, and I just think that's the thing that's different this year.
Okay.
No, I think Bournemouth are in for a tough season. So Chelsea win, away win.
Yeah.
Right, Brighton, who's stunned Stratford Stadium last Friday, didn't it, against West Ham, against Saints. Another tricky one, boys. I'm going to give them this. I'm going to go Brighton 1-0. But it's a tough one. You know, it's a South Coast derby, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Just round the coast from each other. If you look, Brighton have won just 2 of the last 13 games against Saints, lost 7. So maybe I'm being ambitious here. I think I'm going to go 1-0 Brighton.
I mean, Brighton unbeaten in the last 3 home matches. They obviously beat West Ham away last week, and Southampton are struggling to score, aren't they?
They just can't score. Southampton have failed to score in 9 of their last 15 Premier League games.
Yeah.
They're just so blunt. I know they got a couple against Newcastle last week, but I struggle to see where the goals come from.
Yeah,
agreed. So I think this could be a 1-0 Brighton win as well.
Look at that. How does that happen? Shane Long. I like Shane. He hasn't scored in his last 19 Premier League appearances for Saints, despite playing nearly 1,000 minutes, attempting 25 shots in his span. He's a good player. I don't understand it.
It's the service. I've watched Southampton a couple of times, and if Tadic doesn't create something, Southampton are so blunt. So I feel a bit sorry for Shane Long there, because he creates a lot himself, and he doesn't really
Works
get it
hard,
back.
doesn't he? Works hard.
Works his socks off. Brighton games have seen under 2.5 goals in all but one of their home games. So they won 3-1 against West Brom. There's not many goals in that game.
No.
1-0. I think we're all in agreement there.
Yeah. Now, Leicester against Everton. So much has gone in. This is a shock to me, Claude Puel. We're just talking about Southampton. Now, his record at Saints was not bad. 8th in the Premier, got into League Cup final, lost to Man United. So, can they get any better than that, Southampton? Probably not. And yet, a lot of the Saints fan, even Matt Letizia, it was dull, it was boring, and they were pleased to see him go, and yet he walks in that Leicester job. So I hope I'm wrong, but I can see this ending in tears.
I just think it's a bit of a strange one because, like you say, got to the cup final, finished 8th. He did well for them, and it's not like the new managers, Pellegrini, has come in and they're tearing up trees now, are they? So
I'd say they're worse.
Yeah, they're probably even more blunt now. So I think it's a random appointment. But this one's a tough one to call. Obviously, one new manager, one caretaker manager.
Yeah.
So you just don't know which way this one's going to go.
Just on Everton, I hear that the owner does really like David Unsworth, Mr. Kenwright. So that's a big. If he gets the results, he could get this job. But there's a weird one. We're talking about Claude Puel, weird. And Michael Carrick's had a wee mention. He may be going there as a player coach and stuff. So there's a lot of whispers going on at Everton at the moment. Will that be their undoing? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to go 1-1.
I think Leicester are going to nick this.
I do as well.
They've just, I think that since Appleton was caretaker, they won both of those games. I think Mahrez is starting to tick again.
Yeah.
And if Mahrez plays well, Leicester play well.
So apparently Everton have failed to win their last 12 away matches.
See, they're not good away.
They don't like travelling. I think Leicester are going to want to impress the new manager, get something extra out the tank. Yeah. I reckon they'll 2-1 Leicester.
I reckon 2-1 Leicester as well. Everton have conceded 8 goals away from home as well, so they're leaky away from home.
Well, I'm going to go 1-1. I'm just looking at a quick treble. It won't be fantastic odds, but I fancy Liverpool. You've got to fancy City, haven't you? And probably Chelsea. That'd be my 3.
My treble, I fancy Watford to beat Stoke. I think that one's quite a good shout. I'd throw to bump up the odds a Palace West Ham draw, and then I think City is the way to go.
My treble would be West Ham win, Watford win, and Brighton win.
Oof. Yeah, I could
decent
see
odds.
I'd probably get the worst odds, but
I think mine's decent odds, around the kind of 20s, I reckon.
Yeah, for a treble, that's
good. There you go. And that's it. And then we've got Champions League, of course, coming up. But really enjoy the football this weekend. It's a weekend where, if things go right, City could go clear. You've been watching SportNation. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
See you later.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to see more. And for that extra sporting fix, check out our website for more great info, betting tips and exclusive offers on sportnation.com.